With the news on.
Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm not gonna get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important, you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focus on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. With the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle a lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, pay pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? I hope everybody has had a great day. Welcome to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. We appreciate you so very much for tuning in with us on tonight. So I want to welcome everyone in, whether it's your first time, your second time, your 95th time, however many times you've been here, or if you're a regular. We thank you for joining us, and I hope that you have had an amazing day. The month of March is almost over, and we are glad that we have made it this far. So if you would not mind, please, ma'am, please, sir, hit that thumbs up button that you see. And that's the like button for us. If you hit that button, it's free 99 to you, but it means everything to us. And we appreciate it. So again, welcome. As we know, March is Women's History Month. And we have been celebrating all month long on this channel as well as across the street, our spiritual side on the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network. But the month is not over yet. We got one more round to go between tonight and again tomorrow night. So we hope that you will tune in both spaces and that you will hang in there with us. We invite you to come on down to the chat, to the comment section, and chit chat with us for a while. I promise you tonight we won't be on long. I don't think tonight's gonna be a long night, But we just wanted to wrap up this month, just having a little open dialogue, a little conversation, and some of the ladies will be folding in a little bit, but I do want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of our conversations. Last week, we had the men's panel up about when a man loves a woman. Listen, I need to go back and watch that one myself. I love when we have the men's panel because something happens when men speak. That's the motto for the men's lounge. And our men were sharing with us, teaching us, telling us, really what a man's love to a woman looks like. And again, over here, we're not one voice, one sound. We are open to everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. We appreciate your engagement. We just ask that any engagement that you do have, that it be done respectfully and that we respect each other's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And again, we look forward to, we're here to lean in and listen and learn. We are not here to convict nor to convince. but we want to have conversation that's going to help us all to grow, right? We want to be better. I know for me, I don't want to be right anymore. I want to get it right. So we're leaning in, we're listening, and we welcome everyone's engagement. With that being said, as you all know, this is not a Christian-based network, although most people who come up on our panel are believers. So whatever your moral compass is, again, we receive it. Again, we just ask that you do so respectfully. As for me, I'm a God's girl. So what? I tell you, always going to get a little Jesus when you get me, right? Absolutely every time. So we are just looking forward to having a great time and a great conversation. Everybody's running a little late today, but that's okay because we are here. So let's see who we got. Oh, and if you are up in the expensive seats in the silent section, I want to invite you to come on down to the chat. Don't be shy. Come in and say, come in and say hello. We would love to have you here. Okay, so come on and speak so we can speak back. We see, of course, our favorite moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets is in the building. Our lady Ine Kenya. She says, hey, Bravo with Sheila. She says, hey, Dawn B. And she is traveling, but she's still here. So she said, have a great stream. We will. We're going to do our best to do so. And let's see who else we have in the building. Of course, you know him, you love him. You haven't seen him in a while. I'm still trying to get him to come back on this side of the screen. I really am. Because if you know me and Vaughn, where's your faith? Call him the invisible man, Vaughn Eric. You know, we go at it. He and I, we are iron that sharpens iron, and we are always going at it, getting down to the root of the matter. Everybody needs a good combat partner, So Vaughn, we do what we do. We will argue after the show. We'll argue on the platform, and then even after the show is over, we will call each other and continue the argument. We continue our debate. Okay, we will fall asleep, and even the next day we will start debating about it again. Because that's just how we and Vaughn do. But it's good to have good people. Appreciate you for being in the building, sir. And of course, y'all know him. Y'all love him. I have a million names for him. Oh, listen, you know him. He is the coach, Mr. Courageous Vulnerability, Bishop, architect, carpenter, beekeeper, mechanic, all of the things. Author Justin Wilson. He is a mental health coach certified. My fellow coach brother, what's good, bro? He's in the building. He says, I come for the trouble. Okay, he said, I'm just playing it. He already know a name. And Nate's already on it. She's like, type up, buddy. Type it. That's it. See, you know what? I think I like this. And Nate, we're going to have to get you in some other spaces. It seems like he stays on his P's and Q's when you're around. Justin, you can come on this side, because we can have some conversation and debate. I know it's ladies' night. We having girl talk, but I always like balance. So I always love to hear the men's opinions to some of the issues, the vicissitudes of life that come upon us women. So, you ain't got to hang out in the comments, bro. You already know. You can come on this side and we make the night the night. You listen, y'all know we do what we do over here. And Vaughn is laughing. Vaughn, you already know. We haven't had a good argument. I don't even want to say argument. What do we have? We have banter that what do we have? We have banter that it stretches. It stretches. We go to the extremes in conversation. Everyone needs a Vaughn and everyone needs a Dawn because I think we aggravate each other a whole heck of a lot on purpose, but we come out better. So, glad to see it. We know who we are. We absolutely know who we are. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. So as y'all are fixing it, I'm sorry, I'm fixing it. Y'all not fixing it. I'm fixing something. As I always say, and Coach Theo is on her way, but I don't want y'all to feel deprived. Because tonight, what on this very mic you're about to hear, I swear and declare, the best podcast of the year, BB Online Awards nominated for podcast of the year. So cheerio, yell, scream, what? Bravo. Okay. Also, if you didn't know, just in case if you're not sure where you are, this is Lady Dawn B in the Thursday Night Squad show on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Y'all know how we do it. Oh, welcome in. Look who is in the building. Y'all say hey to Big Clay. He is in the house. He said, I got it. He was having a little trouble there trying to help him navigate, but he's here now. What's happening, boo? What's going on, love? Good to see you. Glad you made it. Glad you could find your way. So y'all say what's up to Big Clay. Welcome him into the chat, into the Bravo family. So guys, all month we have been talking about women's history. And one of the things that okay, all right, okay. He said, I'm good. All right. Glad you made it. Glad you got it. So in this month of women's history, we have talked about, like I said, the men loving on how when a man loves a woman. Which again, I tell you to go back and watch that podcast because that was a really good one. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm old now and I can't remember a whole lot of stuff anymore. So I don't even sometimes remember all the things we have discussed, but it has been a month where my goal and my desire was for us as women to be able to see ourselves in a different light. When these months come around and we are honoring them, we are honoring the months. We are, our tradition calls for it, for whatever it is the month is celebrating in. I want women to celebrate ourselves. And I think it's very important that we do. Take time to celebrate yourself and know that for as much as we look back and see history, you yourself are history in the making. Every woman is history in the making. You are doing something that some other woman maybe wanted to do, did not do, could not do. But we have the opportunity to do that and to be that. So you need to know that you are history in the making. And I think if we think of ourselves in this light, we will move a whole lot differently. Because what mark are we leaving on the world or in the earth so that when history is written about us, what will it say? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta stop because my mama's in the building. Y'all already know the world stops when Pastor Rosa, aka Mama Rosa, aka my mama who pushed me out. I am her 4 of 4. That's right. She got to me and said, "There's no need for any more. Perfection has come." And so we are here. I'm just kidding, y'all. Don't tell my brothers and sisters. You could tell them. But mommy says, "Good evening, Lady D. You looking gangster cute." Have a great show. I'm looking gangster cute tonight, Mom. Okay. I'll take it. Little something. Little something. I'll try. I'll take after you, Mama. I'll take after you. She says, have a great show. And of course, Mommy sending her love to Anae. She said, good evening, my Anae. Love you. And of course, the newest addition to our family, Big Clay, is in the building. He said, hey, Mama. He's saying hi to you, Mommy. That's your cue. It's for you, Miss Rose. Mom says she loves it. I'm glad you love it. So, as I was saying, ladies, I really want us to take inventory of ourselves. Oh, all right. See, now we got it going. She says, hey, Clay. All right, y'all conversing. Do what y'all do. But ladies, I really wanted us to take a moment to really take inventory of ourselves and think about the marks that we are leaving on the earth. Make sure that we are fulfilling our purposes and how we are showing up in the spaces that are assigned to our lives. I think sometimes we as women, we have gotten into this headspace of the women's movement and totally shifted it from what it was originally intended to be, and we've turned it, some of us, not all, have turned it into something that's far beyond. We have to make sure that we are not so independent that we don't leave, that we are not leaving for room for men to be men in our lives, for men to be present in our lives, for men to feel valuable in our lives. So tonight, you just wanted to have like a little girl talk, little one-on-ones. And if you have any questions in the chat, please put them in. Feel free to ask us anything. We will answer respectfully. And looking forward to it. So I think my, I call her my co-host. But you know her, you love her. She didn't ask for this job, but it's given. Y'all can see it. She's shaking her head, but it's okay. She can shake it. It's all right. She's still here. But you know her, you love her. I always say it. America has their sweetheart, and over here on the Bravo Sheila Network, we have ours. She is a sweetheart. She is amazing. She is incredible. She is gifted. She is talented. She is smart. She is beautiful. She is kind. She is loving. Okay, she is prosperous. She is successful. And she even took her own car to the car wash. But we are still, we still believe in God for her. We're going to start the GoFundMe account for her car wash so she don't really have to do it no more. But we're asking for God to send her gifted man who will take it for her. Okay, thank God for the brothers. We thank the Lord. He's still doing wonderful things. And I know she loves this because she had just missed it. So before I bring her up, I'm going to make this her theme music. Because back in the day, every superhero, every hero needed their own theme music, right? So, I think I really do this song for her. I think because I know she loves it. So I'm just going to do it one more again, and then we're going to pull her up and get into this conversation. So what, y'all? So tonight on this very mic, you're about to hear, we swear, what? The best podcast of the year. So cheerio, yell, scream, what? Bravo. That's our show. Also, if you didn't know, this is Thursday Night with Dawn B and the Thursday Night Squad show. That's right. Put those glad hands together for our coach, Theo.
I'm like, every week, the introduction gets longer and longer.
I gotta add you and Justin. I gotta add to the two of y'all. I gotta add because y'all are so many things that it's how I gotta work it out.
And he just posted he's with his daughter.
Okay, so my bad. Just got back doing homework. Got you. No problem, bro. I'm just saying. Well, he said before. What he said? He said he is here for the trouble. That is what he is here for. He said, I came for the trouble. And he said, I'm just playing, lady, in there. I'm just playing. He said he'll behave because the Nate told him to tighten it up, buddy.
So he's,
I told her, I think we're going to have to get her on the other platforms. I think we have to bring her over to TikTok. She's going to be Justin's chaperone. We have to pay her or something because.
Exactly.
Because we have trouble keeping him in line, so maybe it's her job. I don't know.
Hi, Mama Rosa.
Oh, let me make sure I put a good evening, Coach Theo. Of course. So on tonight, sis, we just having some open dialogue. We having some girl talk at the end of this Women's History Month, and just trying to encourage our women to understand that we are, as we said all month long, we are making history. We are history in the making. It is not just about the women who have gone on before us and done great things. They've all been in the spaces and in the seats just like we are in, but it's what are we doing with ourselves? What are we doing with our time? What are we doing to leave a purposeful imprint and an impactful imprint on the earth? When history is written about us, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to say? And a lot of times, you know, with shows like this, when we talk about girl talk, people will come in for the toxicity, you know, but we said this before. People don't want to come in and do the work. Don't want to have the conversations about the work, but we're going to have those conversations anyway. So,
where's Juggling Mommy?
I believe I'm sure they're coming, you know, they're probably just a little late, running a little behind. But that's all right. You know, we do what we do. And of course, as I always say, it's not one voice, one sound. And when we are here, we are sharing from our well of our experience. We are speaking for ourselves, but it's also, I don't want to say we're generalizing, but we are sharing, not saying anyone's thoughts, feelings, or opinions are greater than another. But we're here to glean from each other, and maybe something someone says will help open up a different level of understanding so that we can show up and be better women. I mean, I want to be a better woman for myself. You know, a lot of us are worried about, I'm going to be this for my man and be this so I can get a man and get this so I can have a man. Well, sis, it begins at the core of you being good for you. Mm-hmm. You know, let that be your motivation, not because it's not what you're going to get out of it, as in the man is the prize, you know. It's what you're going to get out of it as you build yourself up and become more of who you are. You know, like we were saying on Monday night. And if you don't tune in on Monday nights, please do at 7 p.m. because our sis, Dr. Elaine, is on Mondays. We're on the mic at 7 p.m. I get the privilege of co-hosting with her. And every now and then, our coach Theo comes through and drops her gems and her nuggets and jewels there too, like she did this week. But I want to leave space for you to share this. Like, what do you feel about Women's History Month, and how we as women need to show up?
I mean, I was just having this conversation with someone, you know, about how, you know, I am blessed because, you know, I have different women circles, right? But all of those circles, I have women who we support one another, we encourage one another, we lift up each other, right? We laugh with each other, we cry with each other, you know. And so I've been fortunate to have circles of women who are not afraid to say they love you, who are not afraid to share when they're hurting, who are not afraid to hold you down when you're hurting, right? Not afraid to help you get where you're trying to get to, right? So I just think as women, we have to not be as catty and petty.
Let's talk on it.
You know, I actually have a friend, someone I met down here, right? We clicked. She's from the New York area too, but we clicked when we first met at church, and she's really not someone that is big into having women friends, right? Because her experience has always been, you know, they're catty, they're petty, right? They're always stirring up drama, right? And I think we just need to move away from that, you know. But I think because I have always navigated, even like when I was in junior high school, right? I was never the girl that you could come and tell me somebody said something about me and I'm gonna run with it. Cause the minute you come to me, I'm gonna be like, okay, we having a meeting, right? So go get the person that told you whatever, right? And so I've always been that person that if you really want to know what's going on, don't do the back and forth. Don't do the you said, he said, she said. And I think that just builds stronger relationships when you learn how to move as women. Right? Not little girls. I think that's one of the main problems. I'm not saying all, but I think there are a lot of women that for whatever reason have not got beyond their little girl era. And so they are still functioning in that capacity. So they can't take a compliment, right? If you compliment them, they looking at you side-eye.
Oh, that's like, okay, sis, no,
So,
all right.
Yeah, so I think we just gotta be better. I think, you know, but it starts with you.
Right.
It starts with knowing who you are, what you're putting out there, because you attract who you are.
You do attract who you are.
So so I think that's the other thing is like, it starts with you, and it starts like what you said earlier when you start out. It starts with doing the work. It starts with holding yourself accountable and recognizing that, you know what, some of these situations I'm finding myself in is not necessarily anybody else's fault, but mine because of the choices or decisions I have made.
Absolutely. That's always where it starts for me. Is the choice and owning your choice and your decisions, because no matter what you've been in, it's easy when we put ourselves in the victim seat, because then we feel like we're justified in not having to rise up to a standard, and it allows us to just stay in that pocket. But if it's not serving you, if it's not yielding you, then there comes a point in time where you got to start looking at yourself. And that's one of the hardest things I find with some of us as women. It is hard for us to look in the mirror, It is very hard. And then even when we do get to the mirror, I had to learn to stop making excuses for what I see.
Yeah.
You stand there and you're like, oh, well, this looks like this because.
Yeah.
And this looks like that because, it's like, no, you got to look at you and be like, this looks like this and it's ugly and I don't like it, and I got to sit in that and I got to embrace it. Big Clay says that goes for men and women. Yeah. True. That's very true. It goes for it is both ways. Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
I think the other thing that happens also is there's like an inability to really acknowledge, right?
We hear that from men so much that women we don't acknowledge and we don't take accountability.
Yeah, like we don't acknowledge, we don't take accountability, we don't want to, say what our part in anything was, right? Like, it comes a point where you're like, you can't always be the victim.
Right.
Because definitely, as I go back to my Rolodex, I'm like, okay, if you had went left when God told you to go left instead of going right, you might not have ended up in that situation.
If Woody would have gone to the police, none of this would have never happened. That's
So yes, I just think, there's something to that accountability and being comfortable being uncomfortable. Like I remember the last time I went back to therapy, and I've said this before, right? I went back with a whole different mindset, right? My mindset was like, okay, you know what? This stint with therapy is all about me. I'm going in to figure out what is wrong with me, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that outside of me, my heart, who I am, but what has happened that I keep ending up in same situations? Why am I not satisfied with life the way it is, right? What is it that needs to change? So it wasn't like after I got to, what brought me there, I'm like, okay, what is it about me? Right. And I think that's the most important part. Like looking in the mirror, like you said, is hard. Like when you start peeling back the layers and looking at yourself, like you're like, oh my God, right? But what's on the other side of that is freeing.
Yes, I can agree to that. I feel more like myself. I didn't realize how much more of myself I would feel like the very thing that I'm wanting, that I'm over here fighting against, I'm the problem. It's like you got to go through it so that you can get to that version of you that you want. But oftentimes, again, we sit in the mirror when we do get the courage to go to the mirror, and then we make excuses of what we see. And my thing with that is, and again, this is, we're not one voice with sound, and this is not about, and this is what I want to make clear, because when we have real conversations, people take it like you're man bashing or women bashing. No, we're dealing with real truth, facts, and the root, which is never pretty, so you got to hear it from not the place of offense, you know, but hear it from the place of healing so that you get the point, you know, because we do make excuses for a lot of things. You know, I've done it myself, standing in the mirror. Well, I look like this because, or I'm doing this because, and that's why this happened. But at a certain point in time, like, guess what? You looking like this because this happened didn't stop you. It still doesn't stop you from functioning. It still doesn't stop you from going to work. It still doesn't stop you from doing all these other things. So how is it that it doesn't stop you from doing those things, but we are selective in that it now stops me from becoming coming out of this place of being a victim. Before I go on, let me read these comments in the chat here. We got Denitra, the soft life strategist in the building.
Why she down there?
I don't know why Denitra's not on this side, because she knows she come to give us some soft life strategies. I don't know why. Like, come on over to this side, sis. You know this is where you belong. And Big Clay says, again, both sides. And it's true. You know, as men and women, we have to reflect. And if men and women both start dealing with these type of points, like, we'll be better people, just human beings, and then be better for each other. And we won't get into relationships with one another, whether they be romantic or otherwise. You know, we won't get into them looking for the other person to do all the work and just accept us as we are, because I'm showing up as my best self. You know, I still got some stuff, but, you know, Big Clay said, I think most people don't take accountability.
Nope.
And I agree with that. I have just found the only like caveat that I find to that is that it seems like men have gone to this place of doing the work to start healing, while we were complaining about how men are and how men show up. And they were doing work silently. And now they're showing up. And we're unprepared, you know, because we didn't prepare for the healed man. You know, we didn't prepare because we didn't believe that it would ever happen. So now you're not dealing with an insecure man. Now you're not dealing with a broken man. Now you're dealing with a man who's done the work, who knows what accountability and acknowledgement looks like, and is expecting the same. And he ain't got no time, patience, no capacity for a woman who's still making excuses. You know, so ladies, it's like we also, and again, this is not all women, but we got to think about those spaces and places where we're still sitting in something because of excuses that we make. But I agree, most people don't take the kind or have a really hard time taking accountability. Justin said Denitra should be on that side. She trying to get here. She trying to get here. She trying. Justin said, well, we know he's here for the trouble. So we already know that. Let's see. Big Clay says, speak. Listen, babe, I'm trying to help somebody to be helping somebody. You know, that's all. I'm really like telling the truth, calling it what it is, and letting it be what it's going to be. Because unless we really get ourselves to that place of pause and owning up to who we are, like, I know this, like, this doesn't look good on me. This doesn't feel good on me. This is not how I want to show. We're going to keep losing, you know. Big Clay says, but you have to keep teaching so they will understand. Yeah, you're right. And that's why we come. That's why we're here. Absolutely. You know, because we have to change this narrative amongst ourselves as ladies. You know, we, again, often when we talk about girl talk, you know, we'll come together to commiserate, you know, which is something that I personally, I am not willing to do. I don't need to commiserate with nobody. When we get together and we start this commiseration celebration, none of us want to be better. So why would we want to be with a group of women who don't want to be better? So since Justin asked, I see her moving, but I'm gonna pop her up here just to keep Justin, keep him happy. So the song,
she really should have been here. I don't know what she's doing.
But I think she busy, but she popped
busy.
in. So she is, but you know, but she took some time. So the soft life strategist. I just love the way that sounds. Denitra, the soft life strategy. She gonna teach us how you live in the soft life. You know, she is awesome. What's good, sis? How are you?
Hey y'all. Okay,
What's going
so
on?
I'm in the store, but
Oh,
I'm
It's
trying
okay.
to
You
get
know what? You
home.
could drop your nuggets, and then I could drop you if you want, and then
you
you
in the
come back
store
and
and we
finish.
harassing you?
Okay. What did you want me to specifically? Do you want me to touch on something specifically, or what you want to hear? Or
What we are just talking
because I'm
about,
gonna
you know,
come back because my phone is about to die too. But what was there a particular question or topic for tonight? Because I can come
we
back
put
and I could be a little bit more prepared.
we didn't have a particular topic. We just having girl talk, talking about the things. You know, it's Women's History Month, and we're bringing it to an end. But when we celebrate this, like, what are we getting out of it? What are we going to change? You know, how do we change this to something that empowers us for real? How are we showing up when history is written about us? What is it going to say? We keep honoring this month for women who have already done their work. How are we going to do
Right. Right.
ours? You know, that kind of thing. What is in the way of us, you know, and how do we
Yeah.
get past those things? Are we willing to be really real with ourselves? You
I
know,
think we are in our own way sometimes. And, my thing is like, I'm just trying to encourage other women to get into that mode and like stay persistent in what you want in your life. Sorry, I was like, it's really loud. I can't even hear myself talking in here. But um, like I said, I think that we sometimes get in our own way, and that prevents us from moving on. A lot of the times is we are confused about things or we don't know what we want and we're not taking that time. We're just complaining or we're dumping it on somebody else or we're expecting other people to fix the problem, and really lacking that self-reflection that we need to recognize sometimes. Like we are, we could be the problem sometimes. So it's about taking accountability and like starting to make those changes that you want in your life, and standing on that. Um, and about the whole thing about, the soft life strategy, it's just about creating a space where things don't have to be as hard as you know, they could be. It's not about taking the harder route, like working, doing things that are easier to make your life softer, easier. It doesn't have to be hard all the time. And that's what I'm trying to promote for myself. And it's men and women, it don't have to be hard on nobody. Like it's a life. It's not just a woman's life. It's, and collectively that's gonna make everybody's life softer. So it's just putting that self-work in and that self-reflection, um, that shadow work, that inner, you know, you gotta put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just talk
I
about it.
love
You got to be about it and be about that action.
Yeah.
That's my little
period.
take on it. But I can come in. I was just trying to listen in and kind of get the feel for what we talking about. But I'll start with that and I'll leave with that for now.
All right. Well, listen, before you go, Big Clay, and I love that because we use this term about soft life in the wrong ways. And I love that the definition of it that you assign for your own life. And that's, I think people
Mhm.
need to hear that so that they understand. And we change the narrative because some of us women think the soft life is, marrying a rich man or getting someone who's going to do all
I
the
ain't
things
trying
for
to get
us.
no white man to buy me some hard wigs and all that. That's not what it's like about for me.
I think we got to use a disclaimer for
A
you.
hard, a
Now,
hard wig don't equal a soft life. I'm
we got to
sorry.
use a disclaimer for you too now. But hold on, before you,
I need a soft wig too.
only here on Thursday night. This is what we do. I ain't mad at it. This is what we do. But it's true. But it's true. That's a real. It's a real thing. Big Clay says, "Okay, nice." Hold on. He was talking about your definition and explanation. Justin says, "My life gotta be hard." Why your life gotta be
'Cause you
hard,
gotta,
Justin? Why?
we want to make it hard. That's why.
Because he wanted to. So
Come
before
on over
we
to
let
the
you go,
soft side.
before we
Come
let you
on to
go
the
to do
soft
what
side.
for you to do what you was doing. So Big Clay had a question, and I'm gonna let you go first because I know you're doing what you got to do, and then she's gonna come back later. But he asked, and then Coach Theo, you can answer this too. Is that what's a positive word you would leave here?
You wanted me to go first, or you wanted me to go and then drop? Okay. I would just say a positive word. You know, we all doing the best that we can, and I think that if you genuinely want something better for yourself and a better life, a softer life, then just put in the work. You know, and not be hard on yourself, and give yourself grace when you are making that progress and you are, you know, progressing in your purpose. So that's all I'll leave y'all with that.
Okay, that's all right. But she'll be back. You coming back, right?
Yes, I'm coming back. My phone gonna die. I'm about to find me a charger right now, and I got a couple of things, and I'm gonna come back in.
All right. So I'm gonna drop you until then. But that is Denitra, the Soft Life strategist, and we always appreciate when she is sharing. I love to hear her talk. I love her take on the soft life and the strategy behind it. I really do, because again, we have turned it into something so far beyond than what it needs to be. And redefining that narrative is something that we need to do. Justin said that's too dangerous. Soft life is too dangerous. Justin, is that what you say? It's too dangerous for you? My goodness, I can't. So, Coach Theo, we go to you since we have this question. What is a positive word that you would leave here?
What is a positive word? Some people might not think it's positive what I'm about to say, but I think that there are some people that need to get to a point where they stop using "this is just who I am" or "this is just how I am," right? Because I believe that holds some people back from, one, the accountability piece that we already talked about, but also from that, that space of a journey that will lead to healing by doing the work, right? Because some people it's easier for them to just say, well, that's how I am, or that's who I am, right? And so for anything that happens, that's what they use. And when you show up like that consistently, you are preventing yourself from moving forward and growing, right? And getting to a point where you can show up differently. So that would be, some people might not find that to be positive, but, I really do think that, that's real. Like, people, they use that as an out, right? As opposed to correcting themselves, or opposed to showing up in a positive way. It's easy to be like, well, that's who I am. No, that you don't have to be that way.
That's what you do. It's not necessarily who you are.
Yeah.
Big Clay says yes. Hold on, Justin, because he's here for the trouble.
Exactly. He just here for it.
Justin says Hakuna Matata, the word from AJW. Okay, all right. Well, that's your word. And chat, tell us your word. Tell us your word as well. Leave a word of positivity, if you would. Big Clay said that's an excuse for most people. Mm-hmm. And he says they need to grow in life. And y'all are going to meet Big Clay soon.
And what's Big Clay's positive word for this space?
Okay. Well, Big Clay, the challenge is on the table. What is your positive word, love? And Lee, I'm just a girl. The diva is in the building. She says, hello, beautiful ladies. Hey, sis. Good to see you, gorgeous. And we have a surprise. I don't even know if I should say it, but I'm just gonna do it. That's all. Wait, hold on. Before I do, Big Clay says his positive words are live, learn, and grow.
I like it.
I love it. That's right. Live, learn, and grow. I'll tell y'all my word after a minute. But look who's in the building. My Rosie. What's happening? Hey, y'all know Mr. Rockology, my big brother from,
Hey,
you
Big
know,
Brown.
this.
Hey, I had a moment, so I wanted to stop in and say hello.
How are you? Where
Glad
have
to
you
see
I'm
you.
doing
been?
well. I'm doing well.
We see you. We see you.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
What's
What?
been going on? We miss you.
Baby
I
sis
know.
got the cap on tonight.
Huh?
I said, you got the cap on tonight.
Oh, it's got the,
I
you know
miss
how
y'all
your
too.
sister
I
do,
really do. I miss y'all too.
I'm just glad to see you. We just having some girl talk tonight, wrapping up this Women's History Month, and I didn't want it to be anything heavy. You know how we do. We gotta, after having heavy conversation, we gotta have some fun. Lay back a little bit. Oh, all right, Big Clay said looking good. Thank you, babe. I'm trying. To looking good. I'm trying to keep myself together. Trying to make me do what I do, like Theo said. AJW says Big Brother Rock. See,
Hey,
everybody
Justin.
miss you, bro. Everybody miss you. So we trying to have a lighter conversation as we're wrapping up Women's History Month, because for me, I've been sharing the premise that it's wonderful that we are celebrating women in history who have gone before us, but it's time, as we're stepping up to the plate, we got to realize that we are history in the making. And what are we as women doing with the positions that we have, with the giftings that we have? What mark and imprint and impact are we leaving? Because the day and time will come when someone's going to write about us in history. And what would your story tell? Are we really living lives that are going to motivate the generations behind us, and we are responsible for them? We tend to think, I think sometimes, that we're not, but you got to realize, like, I'm very conscious of how I raise my son, because I know he's going to be someone's husband one day, and he's going to impact the life of a young lady, of a woman, and I don't want to present the type of woman to him that he'll just accept anything. I want him to know what a standard in a human being and as a woman looks like, and then I want him to be able to pick a quality woman. And I say that in the vein of, truthfully, all women have quality.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, what is your quality? What are you worth? And I want him to know what it's like to see a woman of value. Doesn't mean that, you don't have to be the greatest woman in the world, but my value comes from me becoming everything that I am, And again, what are we doing as women to now take this reign of Women's History Month and make history ourselves? Before you chime in, bro, we got to pause and welcome in the curator of this space, the leading lady of the Bravo with Sheila Network, Pastor Sheila. My auntie Bravo is in the building. She is here, and I am glad to see her. We all do. Sending you hugs and kisses and plenty of Bravos, auntie. Thank you for allowing, like I say, me this space to spend these 30, 60, 90 minutes or so talking to the people on tonight. We're glad to see you. I love you so much. She always comes in and makes sure that we are okay. Justice says, oh Lord. He said, I'm coming upstairs. Come on, Justin. Come on. So, Rock, from the outside, as a man, when you think of Women's History Month, what do you expect to see from women, like, in this month? Like, what my thing is kind of like, what are we celebrating for? We're doing all of these things, people having rallies and luncheons and all of that, but at the end of it, what are we doing? What are we doing with it? Is there something as a man from the outside, and men, y'all can chime in on this as well. What are you looking to see from women these days when it comes to, like, moments like these? I know I put you on the spot. Lord help
Yeah,
us. He's laughing. I don't know if
it's only been 90 seconds since I timed in, and you gonna put me to work.
I was like, why is he laughing?
it's never good when Big Bro starts out laughing.
Yeah, I was like, why is he laughing? Like, what's gonna come after that laugh?
I like women.
In the chat, what do y'all expect to see?
I like women of
at
women
the end of all of this.
I like women of character. Women of strength. I like a woman who knows her strength outside of feeling like she has to take on masculinity to do it.
Okay.
Because to me that's stronger than masculinity. I think because women bring so much to the table, and when you see a woman who knows her purpose and who knows what she's about, and she doesn't have to take on a form of anything else to exhibit her intelligence, her knowledge, her understanding. To me, that's the ultimate strength. That it gets no sexier than that for me.
Okay, right now, is it 8:30? Watch your voice.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little early. It's been my bad.
I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad. Keep talking, Big Bro. Keep talking.
It gets no better than that. The day when many women realize that how strong they really are and what they bring to the table. Me personally, I get a lot of flack from this when I say this, but it doesn't change my belief. I think the right woman continues to develop the man that she's with. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of strength and that's the kind of power that she brings to the relationship, because it holds them accountable, and not afraid to like a lot of people look at me and Robin and they're like, Dad, you're so big and she's so little. But the thing about it is that people don't, when I tell people in their 26 years in August, how she helped develop me to be better, a better man, a better husband, a better father, and a better grandfather. And she does it without making me feel less than who I am. Mm. Like, when you don't snatch the manhood from a person, or when you don't snatch, and then you allow a person, she allows me to be who I am. But at the same time, she'll pull up and say, listen, you're doing a little bit too much right now. So to me, that's the epitome of a woman. That's what I look for in women. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. And I thank her regularly for it.
I love that. Hold on, before I get to something that you said, welcome into Coach Mr. Courageous, Vulnerability, Justin, AJW, the poet, the beekeeper, the tree hugger, the carpenter. He'll build you a boat. He creates rocket ships. He's a farmer. And
oh wow.
All the things. What's up, Justin? And then he will be your mental health coach. Oh,
and what's this new Wait Minute?
Yeah, Wait Minute coach.
Tonight, I'm none of the good stuff. I come for the problems, and then they can't kick me out of here. I'm joking today. I'm sorry, please. Forgive me. No, I'm joking around.
It's traveling, or she'd have got you by now.
Yeah. That's why I just joke. You know what I'm saying? I gotta at least act like I ain't scared. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing good. we do
that good, don't we, Justin?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Listen, it didn't work, but I did learn something.
Okay, it's the quick apology after the tomfoolery for me.
Yeah.
That's the.
Mhm.
Hey, you know, you got to be able to get it out the way. You got if you seen the Green Mile, old boy said I was just playing. So that's how you get it out the way. Yo, I don't want no problem.
No, she do. Hey, Juggling, she's in the building. Juggling Mommy's here. She says, "Hey, everyone." Now, y'all make sure you say hi to Juggling. She says, "Hey, beautiful Theo. Hey, Coach Dawn." Big Clay
Juggling
says,
is on the wrong side.
I know. I mean,
"I'm sure.
she must be
I'm
doing
sure
something.
the ladies should they gonna come over. I believe they will before it's all done, said and done." Big Clay said, "Attitude in some women needs to change. Attitude in a lot of us women needs to change, but we need to put some define some lines of that because it needs to change for the better."
Yeah.
Amen and hallelujah. Douglas was correct. She said, "Don't forget the messy." And see that right because Justin, we
But see,
know how it is.
what goes on in today's society is the flip flop. They trying to make women more masculine and men more. What's that other word?
Feminine.
Yeah, feminine.
Metro or
No.
whatever.
Yeah, see, it's the flip flop, and a lot of people got caught up in the flip flop. I didn't get caught up in the flip flop. I didn't get caught up in the flip flop. I'm still, you know.
Wow, you didn't.
No, I didn't get caught up. No.
No, sir.
You was vaccinated from that. That didn't catch you.
I'm vaccinated. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna say what came to my mind because I don't want to. I don't want to have to use the disclaimer.
Listen,
Hey,
I'm gonna have to get a book of disclaimers from now on and just put them in the chat because I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the rest of 2026 is gonna be like, but I'm gonna get a disclaimer for everybody. Everybody's gonna have a personal disclaimer that's gonna flash. So we just talking, we just chit-chatting tonight. We are wrapping up Women's History Month. And you know, I get a little disturbed because I'm like, all of these things that we're doing and we're celebrating, and we've had amazing conversation on this side, but you know, it makes me think of as we are going through the things that we're going through, as we are honoring and commemorating women in the past who have done wonderful things to pave the way. What are we modern day women doing now? Like, how are we picking up a baton? Some of us feel like we don't have to because they already did it. And that speaks to me, that comes off as an attitude of entitlement instead of it being my turn to carry on to what's next. You know, each generation, everyone should build upon the next. So as women, what are we doing that is going to make a difference and an impact on our communities? And when history is written about us, what is somebody going to say? Anybody want to hear, you know, well, she had 25 pairs of red bottoms and Jimmy Choos, and she had every, you know, y'all know, oh, it's not time. Justin's left, so I don't start it.
It's like 7:50. It's 7:59.
I didn't even make it to 8 o'clock. I was doing good till Rock got up there. I was doing good.
I
gotta give it to me. I was doing good.
I will say this. I mean, you know, yeah, I became a coach, right? But way before becoming like a certified coach, right? You know, I've always been a mentor or a coach, right? Without that designation, right? I've always mentored younger women, right? You know, even to this day, right? I am someone that they can talk to, right, with no judgment, that I can guide them, right, that they appreciate the guidance that is given, right? And so I think that is I think that's what we can do as women, is continue to reach back. Like, I also, you know, there's a group, I even sign up, right, to be mentor and coach. There's a group called Braven, right, you know, for individuals that this is like maybe their first time, this is their first time going to college, right? And they look for mentors. So I do that, right? And so I think we just have to be cognizant of reaching back, being a positive influence, right? But I think also it needs to be done without judgment. I think the problem with some of us that come from, you know, an older generation, right? Because I'm considered Gen X, right? I think some of the other individuals that fall in this category, you know, they judge, right? Without understanding, right? Without recognizing that we live in a different time, right? This is a different time that we live in. And so, yeah, these young ladies and even young men, they're not going to show up the same way we showed up, but it's our responsibility, right? To kind of help them navigate so that they can show up in a way that honors who they are, right? Because we can't make people into who we were. We came up under a different way.
That's right.
Right. So, so the expectation that the younger people are going to conform to the way we think and the way we do things is not realistic. So how do we help them navigate and live in this time in a positive way where they become productive members of society?
I love that. And before we jump further, because I love everything that you said. And with that in mind, because Justin has daughters, Big Bro Rock has daughters, and I would like to hear the men's take on how you feel about the women that your daughters are seeing out here, because that has an impact. And then you have to fix and correct, you know, what they see out in the world to let them know, like, this is not, you know, this is not what a woman is, or this is not what makes a woman. You know what I'm saying? As fathers, how do you navigate that space with your daughters? And Theo made the point about teaching them to honor who they are. And I would just like to say, you know, with that, because y'all know me, I'm like, there's a way for us to teach them how to honor who they are. But the problem is, are we honoring who we are? As women, a lot of us are not honoring ourselves. So how are we going to teach them how to honor themselves when we ourselves are not truly honoring who we are and giving someone else something about us to honor? You know, what is that example? Because it has to be difficult as fathers to have to now deal with your daughters who are seeing women who are operating in these other ways, and the responsibility is, you know, is really on us. Welcome, Juggling, to the platform. Hold on one second, guys. The chat is chatting, so let's see. Big Clay says, he says, I've met a good woman that has made me smile every day since I met her beautiful and gangster self. I think that's wonderful. I love that for you, Big Clay. I do. Says she's a woman like I've never met before. She has it all together. And with the little heart. You know, I think you should stick with her. I think you should keep her. I think she's a keeper. I like it. I love it. He also says, I like my daughter's boyfriend. He's a good dude. You know, and more men need to meet more amazing women that make them smile every day. I'm just saying. But I think it's important in us honoring ourselves. And I see Janitra is back also. How are young women going to know what honoring themselves looks like if we, as the women before them, are not showing that? So that means we gotta ourselves. Because say, yes, I'm keeping her. And you should. You should absolutely keep her. I'm sure she doesn't mind being kept either. How are we got to set that example of honoring. So of what honor looks like as a woman. So Justin and Rock, chime in from a father's perspective with your daughters in relation to what we're talking about in honoring them. Like, these examples out here today, truly what they see. It's got to be like, it's nuts. And then that's what they're going to emulate themselves after. Like, how do y'all navigate that? Are you passing it off to Big Bro?
So I'll go ahead. Like for me, I try to be like an example of what a man does for his family in terms of the women that they become. I try to have conversations. Of course, I don't. There are women. There are examples who there are examples of people who call themselves women that I don't want my daughters to emulate. And but I want my daughters to have the freedom to make, you know, the choices that they're going to make, because ultimately they have to live with those choices. But I try to be the best version of myself that I can be, and I'm trying to create an environment where my daughters can be challenged and challenge me. And so I want them to be thinkers. I don't want them, I want them to be able to be independent, but I don't want them to be so independent they can't be any good in a relational situation. And it is scary because, you know, a lot of times we get on here, we talk about what the women are not doing right and how they wilding out and acting like juggling mommy, and the guys are tripping too. So I love my sister juggling mom. Look,
I was gonna say,
yay!
You see,
I wish they would act like juggling mom.
She done
Juggling
came
mom
on
is
the
the
camera
greatest
now.
woman in the world. Oh, hey, she came up on the panel. You all right, sis?
Yeah.
She's here.
So yeah, it's you know, I have examples of like the people I've met here lately, like Theo, like juggling, like Don, like Denitra, like Lily. Like these are people y'all don't necessarily know, but y'all actually give me hope to continue even trying, because at this point I just want to make some money and make sure my kids straight and don't fight with nobody. That I'm really good on that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I don't. It's not that I just want to be an example to my daughters of what a man fundamentally looks like, and I want them to go out and create the world that they want to experience. And I also want them to be in a position to get with somebody so that they can create together the world that they're going to experience. I feel like this next generation of man are there's going to be a group of them that do listen, that do pay attention, that do remember dates, that knows how to plan and all of that kind of stuff that people in my age bracket are not necessarily the best at. The next group coming along is going to be a lot better at it. And I just hope that by the time it's my daughter's time to start dating and everything like that, men and women have learned to value and appreciate each other, see the value in each other, acknowledge each other, work together, understand how traditional gender roles work within the context of their time frame. And if I can get my daughters to the point to be good candidates for that, I'm gonna support whoever they are. Like my daughters know now, if I don't like a guy, I'm gonna tell them. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I ain't gonna like him is because I don't feel like he's going to do what's right for them. But I ain't gotta be with him. Just don't put me in a situation where you put your hands on my daughter. And I'm gonna pass it over to Rock on that one.
Okay. Big bruh. Oh wait, hold on. Before you do, so Justin, what you're saying is you want them to be independent, but not so much independent to the point where they won't let him open the door. Is that what you? So he won't open the car door? He's gonna teach her to let him open the door?
Why are you about to get him started? Why?
because it's because it's after. Y'all gotta go back and watch the last like this whole month. Talking about opening the car door. You want her to be independent, but not so much so she don't let him do it. I'm reformed. I'm learning. I'm learning. See, I'm not a good example of that. I'm learning. Oh, come on, big bro.
Well, I'm told by my daughters that I'm too hard. I'm told by my daughters that I'm too hard because I don't like how they're being. I don't like how they're being treated. They're too passive, and some of them, their argument is he won't marry me. And my thing is, well, you gave him everything he wanted. Why would he marry you? I don't even know if I would have got married if I got everything I wanted prior to getting married. I mean, you live with him, you gave him yourself, you gave him a child. Yeah, I mean, you do everything married people do. So this is why. So, but my thing is, they're just too. To me, they're just not. I don't know. It's just, I guess there's just so much other influence out there today that they want to represent this person. They want to be like this person. They want to be like that person instead of developing, find out within themselves who they want to be and grow from there. It's just like, they always say, I got just one daughter. It's like, well, if I can just find a man, treat me like you treat mom. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say they're not out there. I'm not going to say they're not out there. I would never say that. I said, but at the same time, you can find a good man, but you have to show a man how you want to be treated. You have to teach a man how you want to be treated. If you let him talk to you this way, if you let him behave this way, if you let him do this way, then you're saying, this is how I'm accepting this. Y'all give me credit, but let me tell you something. Mom ain't going for all that craziness. Y'all, see, and the thing about it, I said, I make it look good. And I'm always make it look good. I'm always make it look like it's me, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said earlier, I believe a strong woman, one of her strengths is she's an extension of helping a man continue to develop, right? So a lot of that goes to mom, where a lot of they say it's me. Of course, yeah, I guess directly is me because I got to make the decision what I'm gonna do or not do. But at the same time, you have to be the thermometer. You have to be the person to say this is not going. They don't want to have. There's sometimes some things have to have a zero tolerance. Yeah. A zero tolerance. When me and my wife first got together, I don't think we were together like 3 or 4 months. No, what you're not going to do is you're not going to holler and scream at me like you're my father. She said that maybe once or twice 25 years ago. What you're not going to do is you're not going to holler at me. You can say whatever you want or whatever, but you're not going to scream at me. So what I'm saying is you have to show a man how to treat you. I mean, it goes both ways, but we're talking about women now. You got to show a man how you want to be treated, how you want to be respected, right? And how you want to be received. But you can't sit back and allow this person to do whatever you want. And then when your parents come around or your grandparents come around, now you embarrassed.
Yeah. I mean, I think
you gotta do what you gotta do. Mom ain't never been embarrassed. She ain't never been embarrassed. She don't embarrassed from what? Nope. She ain't never been embarrassed because, again, like I was saying earlier, women have to know their strengths. I try to tell them, you're way stronger than you think you are. You actually hold the cards. Y'all let these no good jokers come in and just do what they want to do because you don't want to be alone. Everybody else got a boyfriend. You don't want to live by yourself. Doggone, if I have to, I'll live by myself. I could. I've done it. I can do it. You can't put yourself in desperate mode, because when you put yourself in desperate mode, then you find yourself accepting anything and everything, and then you have those issues. So it used to be a struggle for me, but at the same time, about maybe 10 years ago, I made up in my mind, it's like, listen, they gotta live their life. These are their decisions. I can't, no sleepless nights, no up worrying where they going. Not 25 phone calls. You go, okay, you do. They gotta do what they gotta do.
Yeah, everyone has.
Because if it's your birthday, why are you paying for the trip to go to the Bahamas? Why? I'm not understanding that. Oh yeah, we just gonna go on this trip, but it's your birthday. Why are you paying for it again? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but when you set that kind of precedent, I won't put no money towards none either. And I consider myself a good man. Oh, you want to pay for it? Okay. But at some point, I tell everybody, at some point, your character, whether you're a man or woman, your character, your manhood, or your womanhood has to kick in. It has to kick in. There are some things that I just can't allow to take place because it's like, nah, that's a hit on my character or that's a hit on my manhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, baby, I can't allow you to do that. So, so you just gotta, people just gotta make a decision on what they want.
Well, a lot of us, I would say, and thank you for that share. You said a lot of things for us to really think about and consider, because sometimes we need to hear it also from a man's perspective. And that's why I love the balance in all of our conversations. Even after we talk and we get our girly stuff out of the way, it's always good to have the men come and share or touch on, because sometimes it will help us realign our thinking, because we may perceive something one way and it's another. But the influence that you have as fathers, on your daughters' lives and how they show up is major. Because some mothers and daughters have competition between them, which makes it hard for young women to receive what the mother is saying. But something about, me, my motto for the men's lounge is something happens when men speak. When you as the father come and say something to your daughter, it can shift everything. And a lot of times it has more weight even than what, the mother may say. Because your opinion as a man of what men really look like in choosing a woman and being that woman and in honoring that woman makes a world of difference. Because another woman really can't tell a woman what a man is looking for in a woman. Men know best. We go by what we think and what we see everybody doing, but the voices of you as fathers is so integral in the lives of your daughters, especially in these days and times when society and social media has so much out there that they get lost. And even like to Theo's earlier point and yours too, about knowing who you are. How do they know who they are if half of us as grown women don't know who we are? A quarter of us are still trying to figure it out, and the other quarter just don't care to know. We want to stay as we are. It's a very fine line. It's a very hard spot to be in, and as I say, history repeats itself when we don't learn the lesson from it, and I would hate to see our generation coming up behind us repeating what we're doing unnecessarily. And this is not every woman. We know that there are great women out here. What hurts my heart is the fact that being a great woman is like some infectious disease. Like when did it switch? When did the pendulum switch? When did being wholesome and being respectful, being a woman of standard and integrity now become like, the infection? I don't understand that. Like what has become of us, So again, when I'm thinking about women in history, some of us are not even trying to. We are concerned about self. And just what I can do, what I can make for me, how I can make me look great, you know.
Mhm.
But we will never get anywhere with that mentality. You know, the unification amongst women has to be greater and greater for the right reasons. And y'all know I've said this before. Y'all always talk about, you know, women's always got some retreat, always have some conference, always have some gathering, always have some something. But again, if you look at it, are we getting better? Because if we
Right.
were, we wouldn't need to have so many retreats and conferences and meetings and Zooms and let's go gather for brunch and sip and paint and, you know, let's do girls trip this weekend. Like, what's coming out of those things? Are we coming out better again, or are we just commiserating? I want to read these comments real quick, and then I think like Coach CEO, you look like you got something to say. No, she ain't got nothing to say. All right. And if anybody has anything to share, I hope y'all enjoy this conversation. Big Clay says, yes, I have shown my daughter what a man looks like. I'm an example to her, and she needs me. I will destroy everything in my path to get to my daughter. But he also says she has a great boyfriend, you know, and I love that. I love to hear that, you know, the example that men set before your daughter as the type of man, you know, since that seems to be like one of the number one things that we go through. I had to sigh and let that out because it seems like we get taught that everything in our lives evolves around having or getting a man. And then we went to the extreme of I'm woman, hear me roar, I don't need a man, you know. And now I don't know where we are, but it's like, how do we find that balance? Yes, we do. I am hyper independent, but I would never say I don't need a man. I would never, it would not come out of my mouth. I absolutely do. And I need you for more than taking out the garbage, more than changing my tires, more than putting gas in my car, you know, more than those things. Those things are wonderful and can be gender role specific if you want to call it that. But I know the energy missing from me when I am not with my person. You know, you need a man and you need a woman. We need each other to help balance ourselves out. I'm whole and complete, within myself. But that companionship, that partnership, and what are we teaching our young women? You know, what are we teaching our girls? Like, it's enough damage has been done with you don't need a man and have your own. Yes, do all of that. But have your own so that when you meet a man, when a man comes into your life, you have something of substance to add to what he has. So the two of you can do better together. You know, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Y'all want to add anything?
But I think it goes back to something you said, or Rock said about social media, right? Like it's like we grew up where we didn't have all of this, like every place you go, you filming everything you do, right? Right.
I ate 3 French fries. Let me introduce you to them.
Right. And we didn't, and we also didn't have this. I think another thing is people forget that social media is not real life, right? And
right.
We also, unfortunately, and I would say this is men and women, right? But for our girls, because that's what we're talking about, we are, unfortunately, the role models are becoming the celebrities, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, the ones that now, right? I'm trying to figure out what the trend is with now. Every one of them wear bodysuits to perform.
Yep.
Like, what is that? Right. But that is what, like, that has become the role model, right? And you're seeing more and more of them. Like, they're like, oh, you know, yes, they're having the babies. Like Rock was, they're having the babies, and you know, it happens, right? But that is what they're seeing, right? Like, they spend so much time looking at social media, and they are starting to think that that's really life. It's not. Because half the stuff that happens on there is what you're seeing. They're not showing you what's really happening behind the outside of the camera, right? But But I think that also has a big influence on it, is who has become the role models. For me, like growing up, I remember my role model used to be one of my sixth grade teacher, right? I used to love my sixth grade teacher, right?
What happened to that? Right.
Right. Now the kids are fighting and fighting the teacher.
I was just going to say now they want to fight the sixth grade teacher.
Right. So yeah, so I think, I think it's just I don't know. I think there's so many dynamics out here that has become competing priorities that I think people are just like all over the place.
Yeah, and we got to find a way to get back grounded, and it has to start, with us. You can't. I really wonder. We talking about making history, like what history are we leaving? I don't want my legacy or when you read about me 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whenever, it'd be like, don't be like, that little on Facebook, like, this is Emma. Emma has this problem. Don't be like Emma. Like, I don't want that to be my history. I don't want to be Emma.
You don't want to be like Emma?
No.
Emma. There's nothing wrong with Emma. I'm so surprised. I'm so shocked, baby sis. Oh my God.
Huh?
I'm so shocked.
I'm just saying, like, Emma got problems. Emma has anger issues. Emma set a car on fire. Emma's now going to jail. Don't be like Emma. It's this little thing. This is
what
Bob.
I think the breakdown came in at is when first the breakdown started when they start taking authority away from the parents. That's the biggest breakdown. When they told parents they could not test.
But who allowed that though? But who allowed that? Like,
well, the people did, right? Because they didn't fight for it.
But we the people.
Yeah, my father wasn't going for it, so it didn't work in our house. But anyway,
it didn't work in our house either. My father be like, "I'm the regular." It didn't work in
our household, so I don't even know what that means by And then then it came in like you have a right to feel how you feel, and you have a right to express how you feel. And when they started saying that, the first thing I said was they're breeding criminals, because if your parents are your first line of honor and respect. If you don't honor and respect your parents, most likely you're not going to honor and respect no authority figure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what takes place. So, and then when you tell people they have a right to feel how they feel and they have the right to express how they feel, you're teaching emotional immaturity. Well, because you're telling them that they don't have, you're telling them they can express whatever they want, however they want, and it's okay. But that's the opposite of maturity. So you breed in immaturity.
I feel like it is okay because we all want to be heard and everyone wants their feelings validated. So I don't think that, for me, I don't think that the issue is there. It's how we navigate from there. Yep, say what you want to say. Yep, feel how, because whether I allow you to feel it or not, you already feel it. Whether
but what I'm saying is, though,
not, you
just
already
because I
think
feel a certain way, just because I feel a certain way, don't mean I have to express it, though.
I think
sometimes,
but why can't I
express it? So if me and Theo were having a conversation and I feel a certain way, and I express it,
and Denisha will come into your comment, don't go nowhere.
But that still doesn't mean that damage wasn't done.
But the damage is already done.
I think it's in the delivery, right? I do think that, I don't think it's something to allow individuals to be able to express how they feel, right? But it's teaching them how to do it, right? In a way that is respectful, in a way that, it becomes a dialogue and a conversation as opposed to a kid that's just acting out and screaming, right? So I think, it's in how the parent frames it to help the child know how to express themselves in a respectful manner, right? Because I do think it's helpful to allow, children to express themselves. That's how they develop emotional intelligence, right? That's how they develop, and start to see who they are and what their identity is. But I think the breakdown comes where they're just allowed to express it in a way that is not teaching them the right way to do it.
I think it's definitely respect that goes along with that, and I do believe everybody, a lot our country states we have freedom of speech, So I'm just saying that's what it said. I didn't say it was exercise, but they just said that we had it. So you can say it, but your words may not mean anything, but you're free to say it, And I think also with kids, when we don't allow them to express themselves, the children then become very repressed. They are non-expressive. They will start to develop a low self-esteem and lack of confidence. It affects their value. They don't feel like their voices deserve to be heard. So they go along with the crowds just to fit in, not knowing that you're not meant to fit in. You're supposed to stand out, But again, I do agree, like Coach Theo said, it's in what we do after that and how we allow them to express themselves. Because some of us as adults still don't know how to present ourselves in an intelligent way when we are expressing our emotions, and so we have to grow. We have to set those examples, and I agree with you, bro. And I see your point, and I'm just, presenting another perspective on it. But we have to be mindful of the total picture. And that's why I love conversations like these, because I think that they start to shake things up, to cause us to think about all these little things that happen that we may overlook at times. I want to shift a little bit because I want to get to Denitra, and I feel like AJW got something to say down there. I see him. I see you, bro. I know how it is. I know your body language. She says, I think we all crave companionship with reciprocation. Absolutely. So we have to stop saying that we don't need each other, because we do. I feel like the people who are screaming the loudest about, bro, that's your hurt. No, what you don't need is her.
Yeah.
But you do need someone. So stop going to the same spirit with a different face. Change your appetite. Sit at a different table. That is not tasty to you. That's on you. You dine at the table you choose to sit at. And again, it goes back to, like you said earlier, about acknowledgement and accountability. You sat down here. Someone may have invited you, but you know how to decline just like you know how to accept. So we need to stop saying and putting out this premise that we don't need each other, because we do need each other. There's a part of me that actually literally needs you, that craves for companionship, like Denitra said. She also says, because I'll stay on there right there, because that'll be a whole nother conversation. We might have to tap on that next week. Denitra also says it does stem from childhood. Book reference adult children of emotional unavailable parents. You got to read this book. And that's another, we need to educate ourselves and understand that we don't know everything, and it's okay to learn something new. Like I said, I've gotten to the point, and I still stand on this. I no longer want to be right. I would like to get it right, because even in being right, when they say it's lonely at the top, it is lonely. You can be right all you want to, and nobody will be around to commend you, support you, pat you on the back. It's just you and your right. How does that feel? How's that working for you? So we got to learn how to translate that in being right to also getting it right. How can I still, celebrate, say maybe being right, but without tearing other people down or making anyone else feel less than, or making it feel like, I don't need you because I got it all together. I do not. We do not. There's something in me that will not come out until I get with my person, because my person has the other part of what I need in me to develop. We bring that out of each other. We're supposed to. And that's how it should be. So when we hear all this, I don't need a man. And you got to think also about how that affects the ego and the mentality of a man. Who wants to feel like they're not needed or wanted? Nobody. Like, oh, you don't need me? Okay. We are offended and we'll sit in that. So we got to be really mindful, figure out how to change this narrative. I'm going to yield my mic. Come on, Denitra, and then AJW, and this AJW, I don't know which one you want to go first.
I said what I said. If you want me to kind of elaborate on my comments, like the first one I was talking about, the companionship and, craving that. And we just want, that reciprocated. I just put on my I just posted on my story on my TikTok page, and it was just like all the reasons why people, might want to be in love. And it was just like, I want all of those things. But the problem is finding somebody to be able to do that with, and that's going to be able to reciprocate in the way that it, that I can receive it. And also me making sure that I can do the same for that person. So that still takes a lot of, self-reflection, as I was kind of saying earlier, and figuring out what you need and want and desire in your relationship. Once you figure that out and that's what you want, it's just kind of giving yourself that grace to say, you deserve what you desire in this life, and you have the right to go after it. As long as you're not doing it in an unhealthy way, or, your intentions are not bad, then, but the problem is the journey to find that partner, so, and it's become a sense of like entitlement when people are like, what they want. And it's not really what they need. They just want. It's like, I want somebody to do this. I want my woman to be like this. But it's not really any real backing, behind it. It's just an entitlement. Like, why? Like, why do you feel like you need a woman like that? Or why do you feel like you even deserve that? And can you offer what you're asking for? So for me, it's like making sure that you're able to do that for yourself before you request that from anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's why the self-love comes in. Like, I spend so much time by myself. Like, people that don't spend time by themselves, it makes me question that, because you don't love yourself enough. You have to have a man. You have to have somebody around you to be able to enjoy your life. It should be an enhancement. It should be an addition to your life. Something that's going to make it softer and better, but it shouldn't be like a requirement of life. Like, you don't need anybody but you need yourself. You need to find yourself is where you should start. But a lot of that, like I said, is going to come from a lot of self-reflection, a lot of work, and understanding oneself. Because I didn't realize what I want until I realized like what I've been through and what made me who I am and why I desire certain things, and why there's like abandonment things there, or why there's attachment issues in some relationships. And like I said, it does stem from childhood. We are taught these things. And, like I said, there's a book. I was trying to see if I can. Actually, that was the ebook. Hold on. That was actually on Audible when I read that book. But my therapist has suggested some things, but it's like a whole series. And I learned so much just about like how I was raised and like why I am the way that I am. And it starts there. And that made me reflect on how I show up as a parent myself, because, how am I, coming off in my parenting, and how's that shaping my kids, my daughters and my sons. So, you got to be able to look at yourself and take accountability there.
I love it. Denitra, the soft life strategist. I love when she shares. That's right. Gotta add the grace on it. The soft life strategist.
I'm just strategizing. I ain't got the answers. I ain't got the answers.
but you are setting history yourself by showing other people, even as you are navigating this journey yourself. And that's one of the things I love about you and what you share and how you walk, and just changing the sound of this narrative of the soft life. It is not the same definition that a lot of us are walking around here trying to perpetuate.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about doing the work that's necessary to make, like you said, your life easier, to make it softer so it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't mean that it's void of work. It's actually saying do the work. Like you said, spend time with yourself. Know who you are. And I love that. I didn't realize what I wanted until I just wrote it down, until I realized who I am. And me realizing who I am, that took time. That took me taking time to be by myself.
Yeah.
Void of everything, everyone, every title, not mom, not daughter, not preacher, not teacher, not coach, not supervisor, not all of the hats that we wear, not sister, not friend, not singer, not all of those. When stripping all of those off, I had to spend time with myself, and understand who God is, So thank you for that share. See, every time y'all gotta go over there TikTok and follow Denitra. I'm trying to tell you, follow everybody. Come on,
I
AJ.
elaborate a little bit more on my page. I have some conversations where, I kind of talk and touch about these things. So y'all check it out.
Come on over. Come on, AJW. I see you over there stirring. He probably writing his next volume of his book. I see it.
No, so I was listening to Ladies Talk Life, and I think we've had this conversation before, but I just don't know how to receive the how I hear you deserve what you desire. I don't know how to receive that. Um, because my experience has been you deserve what you do for. Um, the
I wrote
expectation
that down too.
of of men in this culture, my experience of the expectation of men in this culture is you deserve what you do for. Um, who you are has been has had has been of little consequence in my experience. It's what you do that determines how you're seen and ultimately how you're valued in the culture. So I that is an interesting take that I'm going to have to do some more exploring on because I don't even know how to receive a statement like that. Now when you broke down that being the soft life strategist, it does that's not devoid of work. That makes sense to me. Um, but yeah, I think that it, going back to what you were saying about like the culture and how we've impacted the culture, just like we allowed certain things to happen and now they are and it is the culture. I think the I think people being able to express themselves is a great thing. I just think we're also in a space where we learn that that requires a level of responsibility and accountability, and treating it like that will allow us all to be in a better space because like for me, growing up, you didn't talk to your parents, you didn't talk back to your parents and all of that kind of stuff. Like I was raised in that, and then I remember having an uncle who my whole life he was super stern. He got married and had kids, and he wasn't the cool. He was still a cool uncle, 'cause just in case he watched this, he was still a cool uncle. But his kids used to say they used to talk back, and man, I don't like that. And we did not understand that. But as I grew up and got into the job market, I started to realize that people who grew in companies and people who grew in business was usually the people who would speak their mind. And if you spend your life not having your voice suppressed and your feelings suppressed, and you never speak up for yourself, you'll go to a job and be there 30 years and getting paid the same pay. So I think that it's important to to cultivate and develop this new sense of vocal or speaking your mind. I think that's important. Again, you got to be responsible. You got to respect authority and leadership and everything like that. Like that has to be done. But you also got to be able to identify when you're dealing with a leader or a dictator or a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Because some people go to work and work for somebody that they can't stand, that is a complete tyrant, and then you end up getting a Diddy documentary. You know what I'm saying? And all of these people have been affected, but because they didn't want to say anything, and then it took somebody who wasn't afraid of him to actually step up and say something. And so I think that I would much rather function in a society where people are free to speak their mind. Because at the end of the day, um, if in a society where everybody does not say how they feel, people live lies. And so for me, I would prefer to know how somebody feels. I would prefer to have a woman that tells me what's on her mind and not expect me to read it, not expect me to try to figure out what she's thinking. Just say it. Whether we can establish from the beginning whether or not I'm going to be emotionally mature enough to understand that you are saying it to me as somebody that cares about me. And if I've done something that has affected you, I don't want you to not say it. I want you to say it. And there's going to be a certain level of human emotion tied to that that historically has translated as disrespect. But I'm mature enough now to hear it as passion. To hear it as hurt. And so I think these things are really good for us to get into and have these conversations, because I think, you know, uh women have historically felt things that they didn't say, and then there was a shift where men felt things that they didn't say. Now everybody's saying everything and it's destroying everything. And I'm like, okay, at what point do we say, okay, this is how women feel, um this is how men feel? And also, I think that we need to distinguish the parties, because you got some people on the internet speaking for women that are not like the women on this panel. You know what I'm saying? And when you use a general term like women, I won't say any names, but I can think of a couple of mega rich celebrity women that I certain don't speak for the women on this panel. Um, and so at least what they present to us, they don't speak for the women on this panel. And so I think that we have to have those those differences and point them out. Not that there's anything wrong with those people. It's just there is a particular behavior and a particular attitude and a particular way of thinking that I am wholeheartedly not interested in dealing with. You're a great person, go be great over there. And so that's what I have to say about that. Like, let's be okay with being, like you said earlier, people frown upon being cooperative, frown upon being, you know what I'm saying, somebody that can work with somebody else. If you're not a, I don't know what word to use, but I don't want to use the wrong word, but you fill in the blank and I'm almost certain you're right. You don't have to be that, you know, to feel empowered. You know what I'm saying? You can have two people having a conversation and getting an understanding of each other is a very powerful thing to me. And so that's what I would like to see in this. But next time Denitra go live and talk about that, I want to make sure I'm there so I can learn more about that, because I wholeheartedly have the concept, the words themselves just do not compute to me.
I will send out the invites.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? I'm listening, and as I'm listening, I'm thinking, wow. So I really was fortunate because I will honestly say that I was able to talk to my mother, my father about anything. Like I remember when I decided I was gonna, start being out there. I was able to talk to my mother about it, right? And talk to my dad and one of my aunts who she's still alive, thank God, she's 101 now. Anytime we have a family gathering, it's like she sets up a chair and all the nieces and nephews go and sit down and she has her, how you doing, how's life been, what are you up to? So as everybody was talking, I was like, wow, right? I was kind of fortunate to have, a village that did give me an opportunity to express myself, but also were actually interested in hearing what was going on in my life, right? And how I was doing. And so I would hope that we are able to create that. And I try to create that for my nieces and my nephews. I don't have children, but my nieces and nephews and my friends' kids, I'm the person they call to talk to. The rule is if it's anything that's going to harm you, your parents involved. But I try to create that same space that my aunts, my uncles gave to me, where I could literally sit down and like express myself. And they actually were listening, right? Because, not everybody really listens. They just want to hear you talk. And so as you were talking, I was like, that's really the environment that I would like to create for those that are coming behind us, right? Where they feel like they have a safe space to express themselves without any judgment, right? Because I think that's what's lacking as well. And then the people they end up going to talk to, it doesn't end up so well.
It's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
So, or the blind talking to the deaf and the deaf talking to the dumb.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on.
So it's super important, and that's kind of touching back on what, talking about our legacy and like what change, what kind of woman that I want to be remembered to be, and so creating those spaces and I'm glad that we have spaces like this now, especially with social media and everything and these platforms that we are able to have these conversations, because we weren't having these conversations even 20 years ago, and when I was coming up and when I needed that support, because I didn't have that village. I didn't have women, anybody influential that was supposed to be influential. Those women were not there, and I feel like I missed out a lot, and I had to kind of teach myself and just learn from the women that I thought that were good examples, but I didn't really know, like I didn't really have it in front of me, like within the household. So just trying to be that for my kid, like I didn't have an auntie that I could go and talk to, or even like a big sis, like my older sister. It just wasn't, we didn't have that dynamic. We didn't even start talking even daily until we became adults. Like my older sister didn't, fool with her younger sisters like that. She didn't take us up underneath her wing. And, she was about 5 to 6 years older than me and my sister. And, but it's still trauma within that. There's a reason why that she didn't, connect with us in a certain way. We have the same mom. We don't have the same father. I live with my dad. I didn't live with my mom. My dad more so raised me, not my mom, so she was kind of, so it's a whole thing behind that. And then my aunts, I only have one aunt, but I got about 6 uncle, like I got more men influence on my side. So it's a whole totally different thing, so my mindset is it's just different.
It's like you had to create your own village.
Yeah, and it's still
Right.
like I said, and I make a joke of it, but I'm like, it's really the village people at this point, because it's a little bit of everybody. Like, if you think about the village people, it's like I'm talking about the YMCA village people. It's some characters up in there. So I'm like, I don't know who's in the village, but you got to be selective when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But really just finding like that good, support
Mhm.
people and people that actually care about you and is genuine. But I didn't have that discernment to let people in and be an influence in my life until I was able to find out a little bit more about myself and what made me me. And then once I kind of had that understanding, it was easier for me to start processing things. And it's
Mhm.
just letting things go, giving people grace. Like I had a lot of, resentment and stuff with a lot of stuff with my mom. But
Mhm.
I can't, I have a totally different mindset. And so I can now work on having a better relationship. And not that she don't even know like all the stages that I've been
Mhm.
through, so
Yeah.
because I don't have no issues with my mom, but she probably doesn't even know that I feel that way. And
Yeah.
she probably doesn't know that me and my sister have these conversations on,
Mhm.
and it gets kind of, it gets kind of emotional when we start talking about like how we wish things were different. And I want, what we just felt like an ideal mom was, and that wasn't our mother, and we just kind of felt a certain kind of way about it,
Mhm.
but I don't want my kids to feel like they missed out on anything with
Mhm.
me, because I know what that does. But I know my kids are totally different, human beings. They're not me. They don't have the same upbringing as me. So the way that I parent, it can't be the same way that my parents parented. And I mean, it can't be like that anyway, because these kids is different anyway. But
Man,
I don't know what to do sometimes, but
and we all
it's
growing
a
up
whole
together.
different breed. But
Mhm.
just making sure that I'm there, I'm present, and that they know that I am showing up for them, and everything that I've done and everything that I do is for them. And
Mhm.
right now they can see those examples based on what's going on in my life right now. Like if
Yeah.
anybody knows a little bit about my story, but everything I do is been for my kids. So hopefully they know that, even though I know they may not recognize that right now. And I can see, because my girls are teenagers, but I also have a 10-year-old daughter.
Mhm.
I also have 3-year-old little boys that are coming up as well. So I want to, and I've said this before, like I can't show them the example on how to be, good parents like by myself. Like you have to have somebody that is on board.
Mhm.
um and has the same vision with when it comes to being a parent. And also, just the motherhood that comes out of that. Like it's a growth process,
Yeah.
and I'm still working and living in my motherhood. And but it's also a battle with my femininity. It's also a battle with everything that makes me a woman, because I'm not, being a mother doesn't make Denitra, and I have to realize that, and going back to what we want in our lives, like, who's it's a lot. I'm about to start going off on on a different topic, but
But I think the great
Well,
thing is
baby,
that you're doing the work, right? And like you already said, right? You are figuring out who you are, your identity, right? You're spending that time by yourself. You're creating the blueprint for the life that you want to live, right? And then you're intentionally working towards it.
I'm trying.
well, listen,
No,
we
I'm
you're doing,
strategizing. I'm
you're doing,
strategizing.
you're doing, you're
right.
doing, right?
We are only as good
But I'm just
as
trying to be the
today's
example and be
youngest.
the change that you want to see in the world, right?
Yeah,
And just lead by example.
yeah, like you're
But that's
doing.
all that any of us can
Yeah,
do, honestly, and that's what we are
yeah,
doing. And that's why I say,
yeah.
women, we got
Mhm.
to understand we are history in the making,
Mhm.
present day, real time,
Mhm.
every day. Welcome in, Teletosh. Listen, y'all gonna get to see Teletosh real soon. We trying to hook it up. And she's complimenting you, Denise. She's saying you're a great, you're a great mom with your kids. Listen, tell y'all, my son's
Mhm.
about to be 24. Every day I wake up, like we gotta reintroduce ourselves, because I'm like, I don't
Well,
know who you are today, because I don't even know who I am yet. You know what I'm saying? So we're about to find out.
there's no manual that tells you how to be a parent,
Listen,
right?
there's no manual to. There's
There's
no
no
manual.
manual that tells you how to live, right? Other
That's
than the
what I'm
Bible.
saying.
For us, we got the
There's
Bible, we
no,
got the Word of God.
We
But
all
I'm just,
humans
but I'm
in
just
this
saying, we
world.
there's
all
no
are going to make
manual.
mistakes, right? We
Right.
all are going to make mistakes. It's the lessons that you learn from those mistakes.
And that's the definition of being a human, is not being not perfect, right? You know,
Exactly.
so we
Yeah.
all
It's,
just humans, and that's what we blame it on when we're not perfect. Like, I'm just a human, right? So you got to remember that, and ain't
but it's
nobody
true.
got the answers,
Yeah.
you know,
But that's
Like,
where we come together collectively, right?
and we find it.
And we find the answer together.
we make it work, you know, and there's no blueprint to who we are each day. I'm still trying to figure me out. I could be one way in the morning. I'm not moody, you know, I'm not a moody person, but I could be one way in the morning and by 3 o'clock, somebody totally different. Like I need to, you know, ground myself and figure this thing out, you know, for me. But the thing is, we keep going, you know, we just keep going. Again, we are present day history, you know, in the making, and you have to give ourselves grace and give yourselves credit, you know. And women, I really think, as we begin to wrap up this conversation, because you know we'll be here all night long, and I ain't got no problem with it, but you know, I gotta be on point in the morning, you know, when I work. But I really appreciate us having these conversations, and everyone pouring into them from all perspectives, because your voice is going to resonate with those who you're called to serve. And someone needs to hear these, you know, hear your words from a different perspective. Sometimes, again, this is a part of being iron that sharpens iron, as we rubbing off the rough edges of each other. You know, we're sharpening up our understanding and making room for us to learn even more, you know. And so I just want us as women, like I said, in ending this Women's History Month segment, to keep in mind as we are going along, like, again, what imprint are you making? And it's not just on girls. Again, I don't have daughters. You know, I birthed a son. But yet, I have to leave an imprint on his life as a woman. And what does that look like? Would I be pleased with what I see when I turn back and see, you know, what he's become? He's going to make his own choices, but I'd rather him make his choices and reject the information that I gave him than for him to make choices and never have had the information that I'm giving him. You know, that's his choice. But at least I can leave here, you know, when I close my eyes, knowing that I gave what I had and what I saw he needed, you know. So as we wrap up tonight, again, guys, you know, Thursday Night Squad is so dope, and I love our conversations. Like, I'm trying to say, like, I love y'all so much. I want us to go back around. I had put Big Clay's question back up, you know, now that we are at the at the end of this conversation with all that we've heard from our ladies and our gentlemen. I think this is a good question to end on. So as we give our final thought and comment for everyone, if we go around and just again answer this question, because it may have changed from when we started, you know, and people's thoughts may have changed. But if we were to leave a positive word here, what would that be? So I'm going to start with Denitra and go to Justin, then Big Brother Rock, and then Theo, and then we're going to be out. So we're leaving positive words here tonight. What would they be?
I was gonna read this poem in that I wrote. It's called Becoming. So I can end with that, but if y'all want me to go first.
Yeah,
with
go
it.
ahead.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The mic is yours.
So this piece is called Becoming. I am learning to hear the sound of my own voice, not the echo of what they told me I should be, not the hush I once wrapped around my truth, but the real sound, raw, trembling, and finally mine. I'm standing at the age of 40, not quite sure if I'm flying or falling, but damn it, I'm standing, and there's strength in that. Even if my knees shake and my heart whispers fears, I try not to say out loud. My marriage, a house with cracked windows and walls that don't hold warmth like they used to. We don't look at each other the same, and I ached for the love I imagined, the one I thought that would carry me, but I'm realizing maybe I was always meant to carry me. My children, my beautiful, mysterious five, fragile in ways I don't always understand. Their future stretched before me like foggy roads, and I love them so hard it scares me. Some days I feel invisible, like I'm screaming into a room no one walks into, alone, even in a crowded house, hurt even when I smile, lost even with a map of my own making. But still, there's something growing in me, a quiet fire, a woman I'm learning to like, one who has cried and not broken, who has doubted and still shown up, who has loved with everything she had, even in the world, even when the world felt like too much. I don't know all the steps, but maybe that's okay. Maybe just this breath, this choice, this moment is enough for now because I'm still becoming. And there's something beautiful about being in the middle of the storm. That was it.
Come on and become. Come on and become. And that is
She just did a Justin on me.
okay. Denitra will get you now. Don't sleep. Denitra will get you. And thank you for sharing that and let that resonate with you guys. Like we're gonna learn to sit in the moment this year. You know, we're gonna sit in those hard spaces and absorb exactly what we are feeling. We're gonna turn our
Give
emotions back
yourself some
on.
grace. That's all I can
Denitra,
say.
is that published? Is that published anywhere? That poem?
Oh no, you know what? And actually, a lot of my stuff, like I got encouraged to start writing down my poetry and like really just getting back into writing poetry. Because I wasn't writing for a long time. I didn't start writing until I started like dealing with my traumas and my issues and going and working through therapy. So a lot of my journal entries turned into poems, and like that's kind of how I was expressing myself at the moment. So there is more. That one was like before I turned 40. So that was I think, yeah, that one was last year I wrote, but there's a lot of more reflective pieces that I've written more recent, but nothing is published now. I don't know if I want to write a book, but I'm thinking about it. I just got to a point where I'm putting everything that I've written down on paper so I can be able to recite some of the stuff that I've written, because a lot of it, like I said, it was like journal entries. And so it's like chicken scratch everywhere. And I really had to like sit down, like put it on
Map it out.
paper. Yes. So
That's all
but
right.
yeah, I don't know about the book. Me and Justin, we gonna have to help me
I'm
on
gonna
that way.
say, Dawn to get you. That's okay.
Oh yeah. You know I will.
Yeah.
You know, it's one way in with me and no way out. Y'all already know how that goes. Denitra, you see she's still here, right? You see that? You see? It's real subtle. Come on, Justin. If you could leave, what positive word would you leave here tonight?
I'm gonna try to say something really profound right now. Whatever Denitra said. Y'all have a good night.
I can't. And that is from the coach, Mr. Courageous Vulnerability Bishop Tree Hugger
Just to let y'all know, a lot of my stuff, like Justin has like inspired me so much. Y'all don't even know like how big of an influence Justin has been like in my life over this past year. So a lot of the credit, like I gotta give it to him. And I mean, I don't even know where else it comes from, but my little community, my family but him specifically, like he knows the role that he has played in like the influence his book has had. And it all started with, courageous vulnerability. And even before that, like we, you know, just the encouragement to speak up and be courageous. But when the book came out and when I started like diving in and doing the work on myself, that's where all this, all these writings came from. And So he's been a big inspiration. So it ain't just what I say. It's coming and it's stemming from inspiration, and that came from you. So I appreciate you.
And don't go sending no long old poems when you don't got nothing to say tonight, tomorrow.
Right, that part. So, Big Brother, you know he's already rating. You already know that's what he's doing.
You know we're gonna have one in there.
You already know. I'm surprised he didn't send it already. Wow, see what I'm saying? It's already queued up. It's already queued up.
All right.
It's already queued up. So
Okay, I'll say this, and I literally just thought of this, and it's just something I'm thinking. In order to be able to heal you, you got to feel you. So that's what I would leave with everybody. Don't be afraid of having feelings and feeling your feelings, because that's where the healing starts. Of course, like everything, it has to be done with respect and with a level of reverence for the feelings that we get from God to be able to have as humans. But if you refuse if you refuse yourself the human right to feel yourself, you can never heal yourself from anything. So take from that what you will, and it's all love, Denitra. Again, I don't know how to handle that kind of stuff, so I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna soften you up.
Right.
We're gonna get you all soft on the inside. You're gonna be able to
Come on, Big Brother Rock. Come on. Share with us what positive word would you leave here tonight?
I would just say that being a role model doesn't stop once the children are grown. Role model is a continued thing. There's no stoppage to it. We are forever if we have children, we're forever role models. And also, they were talking earlier about spending time alone. Self-evaluation should be done often. I do it often. I every conversation I have could have been better. Did I play too much? Did I offend anyone? You got to look at yourself. If you don't look at yourself, and if you don't look at yourself and don't correct yourself, you can't be a help or influential to nobody else. You got to be able to. You got to be honest with yourself.
All right. Be honest with you. Look at that reflection in the mirror and take it in. Come on, Coach Theo. What positive word would you leave here tonight?
So I think the first thing I would say is something that I had to work on and probably still work on it a little, is start to look in the mirror and see what others see in you, right? Because I've always had a hard time seeing what other people see in me. You're amazing, you're this, you're that, right? So for me, it has been that thing, and I still work on it, is like literally looking in the mirror and seeing what other people see in me, right? And then the other thing I would say is, I need y'all to get this book. I am a woman with issues, but I still qualify.
Yes.
So this is our sis, Dr. Elaine's book, and I will tell you something, and men, just take the WO off, right? Because honestly, this book right here, if you have not gotten this, it's on Amazon. You could also probably get it on Harlem Girl Inc. But I am a woman, with issues, but I still qualify. I think this actually is a real representation of Women's History Month, right? Because how many of us struggle with, we have issues feeling like we don't qualify, and this book will help you just really shift that mindset, because we are all women with issues, but we still qualify. So I'm sorry, I got to give a plug for my sis, Dr. Elaine Sanders. I need y'all to get this book.
There no apologies needed here. This is what we do. We push people, we push stuff. This is what we do. This is who we are. We want to make sure that we are using this opportunity in the right way. You know, we don't gatekeep, we share. So yes, go to Harlem Girls Forever Inc. and you can get I Am a Woman with Issues, but I still qualify by our Monday Beyond the Mic lead host, Dr. Elaine. This is not her first book, but this is her first solo project. It is amazing. I have it myself. Make sure that you reach out to Justin to get Courageous Vulnerability. That is another book that is awesome. Make sure that you look up and find Mr. Call Me First. I'm trying to tell you, men, folk, that book is dynamic. I have it. He was just on the Tamron Hall show. One of these days we're gonna get him to grace this little space with his presence as well. We have amazing people, amazing authors. Make sure that you go over to TikTok and you can look all of us up over there. You can find all of us probably on Facebook, but a lot of us are over on TikTok quite a bit. So go over there, find us, follow content. We're here to encourage you. We're here to try to change the narrative. We want to be that ripple in the water that makes the current flow, but flow in a healthy way. So I want to thank everybody for joining on tonight and tuning in and being here with us one more Thursday night. Guys, we made it through the month of March. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I am looking forward to the month of April. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will tell you this much. Next week, we are going to be talking about bringing forward and leaving stuff behind. Okay? We're going to talk about because it's necessary and it's time. And I've been stuck on this analogy of a rocket ship leaves the earth with a whole lot of pieces and parts. But when it gets to its destination, it's only the cone. Mm-hmm. Don't get caught up on the things that are falling off of you. They are serving their purpose, and then when the assignment is done, they gotta drop so that we can get to where we gotta go. So we're gonna talk about it next week. I don't want to give it all away, but guess what? The week is not over yet. We got one more night to go, and I want you to come across the street with me tomorrow to the Sheila Ingram Ministries at 7:30. I'll be switching hats. That's right, y'all know. I'll be walking in the calling. I'll be doing the spirituality with me, your girl, Elder Dawn B at 7:30. And tomorrow night, I'm excited because my spiritual mom, my pastor, the Reverend Dr. Tresmaine Grimes, will be on sharing with us, wrapping up this Women's History Month, encouraging women not just through the word, but we encourage each other through word, through song, through worship, and through prayer. We keep it really real over there like we do over here. We get enough preach word, but now we have to come together to talk out principles so that we know how to walk it out to change our lives. So if you want to be encouraged, you want to have some girl time, get you your cup of tea. It could be iced tea. You know, it's starting to get a little warmer out. So grab your iced tea. I know I'm going to have mine. And come on over and join us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to having you again. Thank you, Thursday Night Crew. Couldn't do what I do without each and every one of you. I love y'all. Have an amazing weekend until tomorrow. And if we don't see you tomorrow, you can always catch the replay. But then we'll see you again next week. We'll do it all over again. Be prepared. I think I want a little toxicity to come next week. So, let's see. See if we can have to talk about dropping stuff off, I think that's
bring your Long Islands for that kind of bring your Long Island iced tea for that.
Listen, first thing I ain't gonna ask you what's in your cup. I'm not gonna ask you. There you go, Justin. Okay, we all know things take a turn at 8:30, but I think we're gonna start 8:30 at 7:15 next week. So we're gonna start with this. Bring it forward because we dropping stuff off.
Listen,
who's gonna get dropped next week? Let's see. You never know. So you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up like button on your way out if you didn't. We love you here. Have a great evening. Go be great. Continue to conquer the world. Have a great evening. Go be great. Continue to conquer the world.